it. Yeah. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Eddy Live Show, episode number 200. Man, I've got Bimal Kapoor. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. 200. That's
200, man. Thanks for making the epic one for me with me.
No, I feel honored to be here on 200. Thank you.
200 weeks in a row, man. You know, we were chatting the other day, and I thought I wanted to do one with you, and I thought, well, we don't have to wait for Greg.
Yeah.
Right? When Greg comes back, we'll do another one.
Yeah. Forget Greg.
Forget Greg, yeah. Yeah, bro. So, oh, man. How you doing? How's things? Let me just get this a little closer to you. You're good. You're good. Yeah,
no, all good. You know, sweating my way through the summer.
Any special plans for the summer?
No. Actually, laying pretty low this summer.
Okay.
The wife and kids get to go have fun while I keep the lights on here.
You got to work, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. we're actually going back 25th. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
COVID and just like pre-COVID, and then, you know, during COVID, and then sort of the post-COVID, where you kind of have to make sure this place doesn't go under, you know? So it's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy, yeah.
Yeah, no, that must be tough to be away for that long, and especially with a little kid. And
it is, you know. The last time my daughter went back, she was, I believe she was 5. Now she's 11, so that's literally half her life, right?
It's crazy.
It's kind of sad, but it'll be good. My brother just bought a boat.
Awesome.
He messaged me. He's like, "Hey, guess what? I just bought this boat." And I was like, "Oh, that's perfect timing.
Yeah,
perfect timing for me." Yeah.
That's right. That's great.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
So you've been a long-time customer. I for a super long. I'm not even sure how you found out about us or how long you've been coming, but it's been, I'm gonna say, probably like a 10-year thing.
We will be 10 years here next month. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure we found your other place here in Tianmu.
Yeah.
A few weeks in. So it's been 10 years for sure.
That's one of the cool things, you know. Tianmu, everybody it's a small community, and if you're kind of good with the community, then everybody's I don't know. It's a like a karma thing, you know. You try to be good with everybody, and everyone shares your info and stuff.
Sure.
Tianmu's solid, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And this place and you are obviously key parts of the community.
Yeah, brother. I'll take it. I'll take that.
And that, everybody knows, hey, place to go and have some beers and some good food, and
Appreciate it, man. So let's grab the first wing. How are you with spicy food usually?
I love spice.
You like spicy, right?
I must say though, I can't remember which one of yours I had once that gave me the hiccups for like 5 minutes. So
okay.
I don't know. So, but yeah, I love spice. So, and
good,
I love hot wings. So
I figured, but let's grab the first one here. So we'll take the drum or the wing, whatever you want. We've got a plate there if you want to pull that over. Yeah. So we'll start with like the basic buffalo.
Awesome. My go-to.
Yeah, the buffalo. This is a pretty solid one. I love that one a lot.
The fish tacos and the buffalo wings, those are my go-tos.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because people would always ask, you know, why, you know, you're the Mexican restaurant, blah, blah, blah. Why do you have, you know, wings, and why do you have all that stuff? And it's just because I miss that stuff. Yep. You know, like I don't want to have to go downtown to Hooters or something just to get some wings. You know, I want to have some good wings, you know, and yeah, buffalo, that's always solid, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's take a few steps back, and you can tell me, because I don't know your full story from like the very beginning, right? So Bimal Kapoor, obviously, where were you born and all that? Let's start right from the beginning.
Really from the beginning.
Let's go from the beginning, because I don't know it, and I'm always curious about that.
Yeah. So I was born in New Jersey.
Okay.
My parents moved to Hong Kong when I was 2 years old, so I don't really remember New Jersey much at all.
Gotcha.
My dad worked in fashion, so it was sort of, I guess what you'd call like a typical expat at the time, but that was in the late 70s. I'm dating myself now. I grew up in Hong Kong from when I was 2 years old all the way through high school. Went to an international school there, into an HKIS, and so actually a similar life to like my kids are lucky enough to lead now. So went up all the way up through high school, and then I went to university back in the States. Went to the University of Michigan for 4 years. After I graduated, I thought I would work there for a little while, but I got a job that ended up being in Ann Arbor in Michigan, and it came around towards winter again, and I couldn't do another winter in Michigan. I was like, I'm out of here. I'm going back to the humidity and the heat.
Yes, I know that well.
Yeah, that's actually a funny story. I remember when I was getting ready to leave for for university, I went to like one of the night markets in Hong Kong. So I need a jacket, right? I need like a nice winter jacket. Bought like this jacket. I was like, oh, this is great. This will keep me nice and warm. I think it was like September 15th, and that jacket was like not warm enough already.
Yeah.
In my head, I had no concept of how cold it could be in a place like that, right? I was, just like here, Hong Kong's hot and humid, and sure, it cools off in the winter, but not minus.
Not minus, Agree. That's funny because the first time I took my wife back to Canada, we were just, engaged. I was going to take her to meet my family. This was pre my daughter. And, she's like, she wanted to get, her, go shopping before we go and stuff like that. So I'm like, why don't we just go there? Because it's going to be really thick and cheap. Like, we live in the north, like almost Alaska. Like, we're way up there. And so she's like, no, I want to buy, I want to go here. So we go to like this Japanese place where it's like this specialty Japanese winter store. And we get this jacket, and she tries this jacket on. She's like, oh, this is perfect. And it's like super thin. And they're just like, oh, this is going to be, this is, this high blah, blah, blah material. And I said, this is not warm enough for Canada because, like, there's Japan and then there's like Alaska. I'm like, we're almost in Alaska, right? And so they said, oh, no, it's going to be warm enough. It's a special blah, blah, blah material. And then, we got the boots, the little boots like that. And then this jacket, and the jacket was, I want to say like $1,000 US, like something stupid for a jacket that was like that. And I'm like, okay.
I'm sure it looked nice though, right?
Yeah, it looked really nice. Like she wanted it bad. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. We got it. And, we get off the plane in Vancouver. And she's like, oh, it's pretty cold. And I'm like, this is Vancouver. This is warm, So there's no snow here. There's like this much snow in Vancouver, and that's huge. So I'm like, wow. So, we go up to my home, we fly from Vancouver to my hometown, and then we get off the plane, and, you get off and you step into the snow, and the snow is like that. And the boots are like that. So all the snow goes in, and she's just like, ooh. I'm like,
I told you.
So then we go down to like the store there, and for like $20, you get these giant boots, and I was like, I knew it.
But she was fashionable for winter here.
She was fashionable for winter here. Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Do you get back to the States usually every summer, or?
So my wife's from Holland. My mom lives in the Bay Area, so we tend to alternate. Like Christmas and summer.
Nice. Okay.
But so, yeah, maybe every other year or every if we can. COVID's kind of screwed everything up, but
yeah, it's been a mess. Yeah.
But yeah, usually every year we get back somewhere.
Okay.
So yeah.
So growing up in Hong Kong, do you, like you said, you went at like age two or three?
Yep.
So do you consider that kind of like home, or is this home, or is New Jersey home, or what's home?
Yeah, Hong Kong's
I'm going home.
Yeah, Hong Kong's for sure feels like home. I mean, I tell my kids now, like, home is where like we are all together, right?
100%.
But yeah, if someone asked me like, where are you from, or where's home, I don't know if I'd say I'm from Hong Kong because I'm not really from there, but it's for sure home. Yeah, I feel very comfortable there, and
so you know it well, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So, like, did you learn Cantonese? I mean, is that's obviously very different than Mandarin, right?
So
not related
not really.
at all.
Actually,
No?
the school didn't teach it. The school taught Mandarin.
Oh, really?
And
Interesting.
Like French and Spanish.
Okay.
But my parents never really encouraged the Cantonese. They were like, firstly, English level is quite high in Hong Kong. And
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and they thought Mandarin was much more useful, so I started learning a little bit of Mandarin. But they didn't really. They felt like it was just Hong Kong and obviously Guangzhou and Guangdong province, and so it wasn't as useful as like Mandarin.
That makes sense.
Or French or whatever. So,
that makes sense. Yeah.
So no, I didn't really. I mean, I could swear at you. I can order a beer, tell the taxi how to get me home. That's about it.
So it's like most people's Spanish, right? Una cerveza, por favor, right? It's always like uno más. Yeah, no, that's good. No, I think it's cool to learn, as many languages as possible. It's obviously tough, right? Yep. When my daughter was born, my wife speaks Mandarin to her, and I spoke kind of half English and half Spanish, and her Mandarin was like here, and the other two were down here, and I was like kind of starting to panic a little bit. Yeah. Like, she's not going to have good English, she's not going to have good Spanish, she's only going to have good Mandarin. Right. So I just dropped the Spanish and then just focused on the English. Now the English is great. Yeah. Like, now it's like native speaker, but the Spanish is still kind of teetering
Yeah. So when our first one was born, we
brink of oblivion.
that's sort of like our kids. When the first one was born, we were trying to decide. So my wife's obviously Dutch, so wanted them to speak Dutch.
Yeah.
My Dutch is pretty crap, so to me, she speaks in English, obviously.
Sure.
So, and then we had a Peruvian nanny who was helping us out, who spoke Spanish to her.
Beautiful.
And so, at some point, we felt like it was all a bit too much and too confusing, and we didn't know if she was picking up any of it. So Masha basically just switched to English to her, and obviously I spoke English to her, and so they lost a bit of the Dutch.
Okay.
It's actually not bad now. They because they go to see their grandparents and use it a bit then.
It's
but
like buried in there somewhere, right?
It's in there,
I think.
yeah. But if I were to do it again, I think we would probably force not force, but make sure that Masha spoke to them in Dutch as much as possible to really keep that up.
Yeah,
but it's tough if you're in a house like a multilingual household like yours, right? Like it's hard to keep it all. It's
tough, yeah. Like, because how do you make that decision? Like my family's Mexican, right? And we all speak Spanish at home, and we're always raised, Mexican. Me speak Spanish and be very proud Mexican or whatever. But then it's like, okay, how do I choose one, English or Spanish? And what I basically just what it came down to for me was like, the English just seems like more valuable in Asia. You know what I mean? Like Spanish, like here, my Spanish is getting super rusty because I almost never use it. Right. So when customers come in, that's a lot of embassies and stuff like that. And my Spanish is it's Mexican Spanish, right? So for lack of a better word, it's like a very ghetto Spanish. Like Mexican Spanish is just like it's very like to the point, and it's always like just like in your face, kind of throwing them, just it's almost you're always insulting people, and it's funny. You're just insulting and joking.
A lot of slang. And
it's a lot of slang and stuff like that, and it's tough because that's how you talk, and you just kind of make fun of people a lot and blah blah blah. But then you get like these big embassy guys coming in, and it's like I have to really keep this filter on so I'm not like this like this slimy ghetto guy who speaks Spanish. But it's weird, man. It's weird. Mexican Spanish, right?
So when you go back now to see your family, will they speak Spanish to your daughter?
So now, because my daughter has only seen them like 2-3 times in her life, they'll speak English to her because it's just lost.
Bit too much.
It's almost lost, and they want to enjoy it instead of being like, oh, this is Spanish school. They want to kind of enjoy it. So it's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah. So Hong Kong, right?
Yep.
Well, let's grab the next one. Here. So how was that? It was all right? The buffalo is always
Can
good.
never go wrong with that.
Buffalo. So the next one is Chipotle.
All right.
So get on that Chipotle, right? Thank you. Appreciate it, bro. If you need another beer, just let me know. So Hong Kong, right? Mm-hmm. And then 10 years ago, you came here. Was there anything in between? Well, let me know. What was in between?
So after university, I eventually moved back to Hong Kong.
Okay.
Actually, I came here for about 6 months. I studied at Shida for 6 months after university.
Okay.
Then went back to Hong Kong and got a job. Fell into. I graduated. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Originally, the thought was to be in like the foreign service or do something like that. I studied political science and Asian studies.
Gotcha.
Came back and started applying to all sorts of jobs. Got a job at a small local PR firm that was doing PR for a couple sports properties in Hong Kong, like local ice hockey league.
Gotcha.
Some running events, that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
I was there for about 4 months, and I got a call from Star TV, which at the time was like the biggest pan-regional broadcaster of everything, sports, entertainment, news, everything. And they needed someone to help out in the ad sales department on the sports stuff. So I went for an interview and got the job and fell into sports, which is something I've always loved. And I was the type of kid who put me in front of any sports on. I'd be like, okay, I'll watch that.
I'll watch it. Okay. Good.
So got super lucky and started working for Star TV in ad sales in Hong Kong. And then about a year into that, they transferred me down to Singapore. They had formed a joint venture with ESPN at the time.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
So they formed ESPN STAR Sports. So I got moved down there, was part of that.
Yep. Sorry, keep going. I'm just double checking a couple things here.
Yeah, no worries.
Yep.
Spent 4 years in Singapore. which was great. And then, which is where I met my now wife.
Mm-hmm.
She got a job in New York, and I followed her to New York.
Okay.
And then I started working actually for Fox Networks.
I saw that. Yeah.
That was more actually back really doing Star TV stuff. So I was selling Asian TV channels to American advertisers. At the time, they were still making those decisions.
Gotcha.
Some of those decisions out of the U.S. And then about a year into that, the NBA, a couple guys I knew at the NBA from ESPN days called me and said they were just starting to grow in Asia and around the world, international, and they needed some help. So then the NBA called me, and I got a job there.
You're already here, right? They don't need to send someone over because you're here.
No, I was in New York at
Or
the
you
time.
were okay.
Yeah,
but you had the
in
connections
New York,
here.
But
Okay.
I had been here for so long, and obviously they knew I knew the market. And
So what did the NBA what did they do? Sort of. Obviously, there's no NBA here, but I mean, like, what part of the NBA was the part that was kind of like growing and stuff here?
So my role was
yeah.
Well, there's a couple things. The way the NBA sells like their live broadcasts and any of their digital content.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, and they also keep some of the commercial inventory for themselves.
Okay.
So like, I don't know, let's just say there's a live game on right now. There'd be 2 minutes of inventory that the NBA actually owns. It's not owned by the local broadcaster. It's owned by the NBA.
Okay.
And we do that everywhere around the world. So from Albania to Zimbabwe, like literally every place there's a TV deal or a digital deal.
Okay.
Some of the inventory was contained by the NBA. So
Gotcha.
they brought me in to figure out how to monetize that. How do we use that?
Okay.
So working with sort of our global sponsors like the Cokes and Nikes and of the world, but also in certain markets where our business was big enough, like China, Taiwan, Philippines, Spain, Turkey, those markets.
Okay.
How do we do something locally with it?
Okay.
So that's why they brought me on to do it. But so I mean, the main revenue streams internationally for the NBA are the content rights, so selling the live broadcast.
Okay. Okay.
Sponsorship, like through like local events.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Basketball
NBA is
development.
massive here, right? Like people, I think, basketball is the number 1 or number 2 sport here? 2, right? Baseball must be 1,
Baseball's
right?
number
Baseball
1.
1. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, it was monetizing that stuff, and that's
Cool.
where I got my foot in the door at the NBA. Yeah.
Okay. So how long did you work with the NBA here?
So I was in New York for about 8 years, and then they asked me to move out here
Okay.
to Taiwan. They knew I knew Asia, and
Yeah, of course.
they actually had an office here since I think it was '97.
NBA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
wow.
small office here
Wow.
since 1997.
Okay.
Before sort of China opened up, mainland China opened up. And,
Okay.
and then it became kind of a dying business, really. There wasn't a lot of focus on it. So that's why they asked me to come out and see if we can turn that around. So
Taiwan is always kind of like a gateway almost to get into China, right? It seems like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Especially back before, like,
Before the craziness.
before the yeah.
Yeah.
So I moved out here to sort of run the entire NBA business here.
Okay. That's great.
Which was awesome. It was an awesome experience. It was, like I said, a dying business, but we were able to turn it around, which was exciting and a lot of fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. And then you met? Did you meet your wife here, or how did that happen? Where does that fall into the story?
I met her in Singapore.
In Singapore. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I missed that earlier because of something.
Yeah.
Glitch there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I met her in Singapore.
Okay.
And then, like I mentioned, she moved to New York.
Okay.
And I followed her.
Okay.
Yep. And then
Beautiful. Yeah.
got married and kids and all that after that.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. That's the short version, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean the kids they're getting big, right? So are they planning to do the States thing like you, or maybe Europe, or what's their idea?
My eldest
They're getting close, right?
Yeah, she's got one more year. This will be her last school year coming up.
Okay.
She's leaning towards Australia.
Interesting. Okay. Friends there, or just always
No,
just
the
likes
program
it?
she wants to do there's a very good program at one of the
Gotcha.
universities there. So
Okay.
And then it's in Queensland, so she's
Okay.
it's near the beach, and
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Nice.
she's laser focused on that.
Beautiful. Okay.
Which is great. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. I love that. Yeah, so that's going to be tough. So what about the second one? I mean, she's
She's got
about
3 more years.
15-ish or
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
like that.
15.
Okay.
So
Okay.
she's got 3 more years.
So have you guys given any thought of that? Sort of like the empty nest sort of thing? I know that's scary. It's a scary thought.
You want me to cry on your
No,
podcast?
no, there you go. No, I get it too. Like people ask me about that, and my daughter is like I only have one, and it's just like, even if she just wants to hang out for the day, you know, I'm just like, yeah. I'm not going to work. Let's go. My wife finally, you know, she had like a lunch date with some friends on Monday. We were closed, so we got up and like, all right, we went to the movies. We went for lunch. I was like, this is perfect. I love it.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
And it's
Kids are
I don't
amazing.
know. I have two girls. So I don't know what it is with having sons, but
Yeah.
I feel like girls actually want to hang out with you. Not all the time, of course, but
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, they're great kids.
So,
and,
but
yeah.
when they're older, they still want to hang out with you, right?
Once in a while they still
That's
do.
good. That's good, 'cause
once in
I'm-
a while they still do. Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like, oof, it's a tough one, man. Because people keep telling me, like, you know, as soon as like past age, like she's 11, but maybe 13-ish, that's it.
Yeah.
She's gone. She don't want to hang out with you no more. It's like, no.
Nah.
Separation anxiety, big time for me.
I feel like it's different with girls. I think she'll be fine.
Yeah. Anytime I have friends that raise boys, they're just like, you know, they're so exhausted and like, oh my gosh, kids.
Yeah.
But I mean, like my girl is mellow, man. She's so easy to hang out with her. Like this morning we woke up and I was watching The Ultimate Fighter, and she was playing like Switch, and we're just kind of chatting and stuff. And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
This is perfect. My mom's sleeping in. Yeah.
That's a nice age too, because then they start having like real conversations with you, right?
Yeah.
And that gets super interesting. And but they still want to hang out with you, and they want to talk to you, and so yeah, it's a great age.
I think even when I'm kind of like putting her to sleep and stuff, you know, just chatting and stuff, she'll tell me like everything. Like when she's in bed, she'll tell me all the stuff she's, you know, happened at school. I think it's great. I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the only problem is sometimes like the night we went out for some beers, she'll like stay up until like 2 a.m. being like, hey, I was waiting to tell you the story of, you know,
really?
this kid. And I'm
wow.
like, just go to bed. Tell me tomorrow. And she's like, I'll forget tomorrow. I'm just like,
Oh, it's so sweet, though.
She's
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
But I kind of went home. I think that day I had like there was ice cream in the fridge. I had that, and then I kind of woke up on the couch in the ball like at like 5 a.m. Like what's going on?
All the lights are on.
Yeah, lights are all on. TV's on. It was
Yeah.
crazy, man. It was kind of crazy. Luckily, the in-laws were visiting, but luckily they were all sleeping. So I was just kind of like, yeah, it was kind of funny, man. Yeah. So Taiwan, from the NBA, right? Fox was before.
Yep.
Fox was before that.
Yep.
So Fox, and then NBA, and then now you're working with Taiwan Plus.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so maybe you can tell me a little bit about that. I mean, if someone's to ask you, it's quite new, right? It's been maybe 2-3 years, I think.
Yeah, about 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years
something
now.
like that.
Yep.
So if someone was to say, what is Taiwan Plus?
Yeah. So here's the long-ish answer.
Please have it.
So Taiwan Plus was basically launched, I think, as a reaction to the fact that when people talk about Taiwan in other countries or around the world, it's usually talked in the context of, you know, a CNN or a BBC, so from a Western perspective.
Yeah.
Or, I guess you could say worse, talked about from mainland China's perspective.
Yep,
You know,
agreed.
they have some pretty strong sort of
Very.
propaganda media platform, shall we say.
Yep.
So it was sort of a reaction to that, to say, well, look, there's a need for Taiwan's story to be told from Taiwan
100%.
in English to an audience outside of Taiwan. So that was sort of the original thought and the original genesis of it.
So is it government thing or is it a private company?
No, so it's
Okay.
taxpayer. It is taxpayer funded.
Okay.
It's a project. It sits under PTS, which is like public television.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
the same as public television, essentially.
Gotcha. Okay.
So like in Japan, they have NHK, right, which is the
Okay.
national broadcaster, and they have like an English channel called NHK World.
Okay.
Korea's got it. Obviously, China's got a bit more different version of that. Like I said, more propaganda-y.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But yes, it's sort of a project under public television.
Okay. Okay.
Which is public television is funded by the government.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
sort of- Yeah.
Like a PBS kind of thing back
Exactly.
home, right? Growing up
Exactly.
with that. Okay. Okay.
Exactly. So it's roughly 50% news, and the other 50% is a variety of, travel, food, culture sort of programming.
Yeah.
It's an interesting project. It's obviously has its challenges. It's super niche, right? Like, so trying to get somebody in Vancouver to watch content about Taiwan is not an easy proposition.
Gotcha.
But I think it was exciting to me because it's. I think I believe in the mission, right? I think it's important.
Yeah, I think Taiwan is amazing, and it's usually when people talk about Taiwan, it'd be like those articles like Taiwan pedestrian hell, or The Economist, or it's the most dangerous place in Asia or the world, or what. It's like, what are you talking about? People are just kind of just here doing their thing, and it's a great place. And actually, to be honest, it's safer than Canada. It's way safer than Mexico, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's a great place, man. I've been here for a long time, and I love it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think the purpose is not necessarily only to say I'll talk about all the good stuff, right? Which is of course part of it, right? Because that's sort of natural, but it's just to give the perspective of what does Taiwan and Taiwanese people think about when Nancy Pelosi visited, right?
Yeah.
Or when President Tsai goes to the U.S. or about the Ukraine war, how does that relate to something that could happen here in Taiwan, right? So I think that's sort of the important piece of it. It's so that voice is out there as opposed to just like you said, The Economist saying it's the most dangerous place in the world. Nonsense, right?
When I see that stuff, it's unfortunate because it's like, I know I'm recording it. Did you? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, get another one. Yeah, I know that whole. It's tough because. Like my family sees that stuff and they're just like, when are you coming back? They're coming, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I've been here for 20 years and it's always been like, okay, they're coming. But the whole political thing is weird.
Of course, you're overseas and you see something like that. Of course, it's like, well,
of course,
oh my God, is everything okay there? Are there missiles flying over Tianmu? Like, of course not. No,
exactly.
It's perfectly normal. And yes, it's an issue that needs to be discussed, but hey, here's the perspective from Taiwan about why it matters.
When my what was it? I can't remember how long ago, maybe 10 years ago, there was that big tsunami in Japan, right? So my mom, like a month after that, she called me and she's like, "Oh, mijo," my mom's obviously Mexican. She's like, "Hey, mijo, you're okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, what's going on?" She's like, I just saw the news." And I said, "Okay, which news?" And she's like, "Oh, the tsunami." I'm like, "Tsunami? What are you talking about?" "Yeah, there was a big one," and she was talking about it. I'm like, "Oh, that's Japan."
Right.
And she's just like, yeah. I'm like, that's a completely different place. Take care, man. Like, that's a completely different place, right? It's not Taiwan. So
I remember I used to get, when I was with the NBA, I used to get these, you have to sign up for these like security alerts, right?
Okay,
I used to go to China all the time, right, to Beijing or Shanghai. And there'd be like something happening in like, Xi'an or Chengdu.
Yeah.
And my phone would start going crazy. Like, "Oh, warning, don't go outside in Chengdu," or something. And I'm like, I'm literally like, I don't know how many hundreds of miles away from there. Like, just lack of concept of where the issue is and where I am. And
that's crazy.
But so Taiwan Plus is it's an interesting project. I think it's got value, and it's a lot of heavy lifting. But
let's
fun.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. But let's grab the next one. So the next one is Korean, right? So I don't know if you've ever tried a Korean, but Korean is kind of
I think so, actually.
Yeah, so our Korean, it's like it's kind of our only, fusiony wing sauce, because and again, people are like, "Why do you have Korean?" I'm like, "Well, because I like it and I just want it." And that's kind of one of the perks, I guess.
It's my place and I like it.
It's because I like it. Why do you have half-price wing nights? I'm like, well, because I miss the 10-cent wing nights at home, and
we had that in college.
I don't know if they still have that around. Is that probably gone now?
When I was in college, they had 10-cent wings and 5-cent bottles.
There you go, right?
As a college kid, that's ridiculous, right? And I still remember.
Yeah.
I had to go to the bathroom at the.
It's okay. Thanks, man.
I had to go to the bathroom at the bar that did that, right? So I walk in the back, and there's literally a bucket like as high as my shoulder.
Yeah.
And it was just filled with wings.
Wings, yeah.
So like if you ordered 20 wings, they'd just come back with like a scoop out 20 wings from that bucket.
Oh, really?
And bring it out.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm not sure how good these are for me, but
that's crazy. No, I remember there was a 10-cent wing place when I went to college, and basically, you'd go there, with $10, and you get 100, right? And you're just like, they make their money on the drinks, but you're broke and you're a college kid. And you're not drinking. You drank before you went.
Right.
You drank on the empty stomach before you went to the bar. So you're eating the wings and you're just like, they're like, "Do you want something to drink?" I'm like,
water.
I'll have a water, you know, and then if you felt like spending, you got a Coke or something. And they're just like looking at you like,
These guys again.
These college kids. And
Be
you
back
go
next week.
Exactly. See you next week, you know, every Thursday. It's funny because my sister actually works at the college I went to. It's like this high college. Bimal is the best. Alan McIver. You know Alan?
I know Alan. Hey, Alan. What's up?
What's up, brother? Yeah. So we went this place called Muddy Waters, and then we're going to go back and visit my sister who lives there now. And I just Googled it last week, and I'm like, it's closed, because I was like, no, I want those 10-cent wings. And, you know, I remember I had a buddy, this guy, he's about my height, but he was kind of like a buff guy, he's a Portuguese guy, and this guy could eat, one of my best friends. And he could do it. He could finish the whole 100.
That's
and I would
insane.
sit there struggling, and I like maybe 45, I'm like, whoa. And I would kind of like take the rest, and then you feel sick.
Yeah.
You just feel disgusting, right?
45. If I tried to do 45 wings now,
That was in my it was in my 20s. Now forget it.
Forget it. Yeah.
Yeah. You do like a dozen, and I'm
curled
like,
up on the floor at a ball. Yeah.
exactly, like a dozen is probably is too much already.
Yeah.
It's too much. Yeah, maybe six.
Yep.
6 and a salad or something. I'm good. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it for me, man. Yeah. It's so funny. But quickly. So what's the process for something like, let's say, again, Taiwan Plus? It's a pretty wide variety of content.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so we've got like the Happy Fisherman, right, with Leo.
Yeah.
Right. You guys just launched the Kitchen Remix.
Yep.
Right. With Brandon. Brandon's great. Love Brandon.
Yep.
He was here for UFC the other day.
Nice.
And I mean, so what's kind of like the concept for that? Like, are there people sort of like writing like pilot sort of things for Taiwan Plus, or what's kind of like the concept for that?
Yeah. So
how does that work?
So the 50% that isn't news is the complicated bit, right? So
Yeah.
That's the stuff you're touching on. It's
Okay.
There's a couple things. Some are projects that we sort of say, hey, we think we have an idea and we need somebody to help us create it.
Yeah.
But I'd say probably most are, you know, like the ones you talked about, are people coming to us saying, hey, I've got an idea, pitching us the idea.
Okay.
Yeah, we say, yes, create a pilot.
Okay.
No, it doesn't work. Green light it once we see a pilot if it makes sense. But, you know, look, it's, like the Netflix of the world, the amount of money they put into creating content and the amount that actually hit and stick is it's a very small rate, right? That percentage is tiny. So it's tough, right? So we're making what we hope are educated assumptions on content that we think is going to work for our target audience, which again is people outside of Taiwan and who have an interest in the region or in Taiwan, or third generation Taiwanese who live in LA or wherever. So we're trying to figure out, okay, well, what do those people want to consume? So some of it doesn't work, of course.
Sure.
So it's a bit of a learning curve to me, right? That's not my expertise, but I find it fascinating and super interesting to try and figure out, okay, what works, what doesn't.
How did, obviously it's different than what you were doing before, right? So how did it get to the point where you're like, I'm going to jump from, let's say the last one was probably the NBA, right?
Yep.
Let's jump from NBA to Taiwan Plus. What was that process?
Yeah, well, some of it was...
If it's not too private to share. Hopefully,
it's fine. No, some of it was COVID.
Okay.
COVID kind of threw a wrench in a lot. Well, there's a lot of issues that that the NBA was having. I'm sure you heard it. Back in whatever that was. I don't remember the years.
I don't remember the year. My mind's mush.
Yeah, years don't mean anything.
Yeah.
One of the NBA general managers made some comments about protests in Hong Kong and that upset China. So
I heard
the business in China, they lost like $200 million in a matter of weeks, months. So there was that and COVID. And so, sort of the opportunities that the NBA wanted me to do, I didn't want to do.
Okay.
So I decided, and it was COVID, I was like, we'll just stay here.
Kids like it. We're here. We're settled.
And you remember, right? It was.
And that was the
they
best.
could
That's
still
the
go
place to be.
outside, and they were
Yeah.
still going to school, and it was pretty normal.
Zero cases for so long, right?
Yeah. So I started doing some consulting work for a couple other sports properties, like
Okay.
the Drone Racing League.
Yep. Nice.
Some stuff with that, and some other
Drone Racing League. I never heard of that. That's cool.
Yeah, check it out. It's pretty cool stuff. Sort of like combination of in real life and video esports.
Oh, because you have like the virtual goggles while you control the drone.
Yeah, first-person view drones.
Oh, beautiful. That's cool.
And there's 3D obstacle courses, right? So like going through hoops and.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
And then a contact of mine, reached out and said, "Hey, I need some help with Taiwan Plus."
Okay.
Originally, the idea was
that was just super new at the time, I would guess.
Yeah, I think they were about maybe 6 or 8 months in, and they needed help. They wanted to figure out how to do international distribution, like how to get that content actually.
Sure. Yeah, we want to get in front of the right people, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I said, "Sure, I'm happy to help. It seems like a cool project." It merged into this whole other thing where now I'm looking after programming, as you touched on, marketing.
Beautiful.
Still that content distribution piece. And
okay. And how's it going? I mean, because, I know when it came out, we weren't kind of sure what was happening with it. And then it looks like it's going great. I mean, from an outsider perspective, it looks like it's going well.
Good. I'm glad it looks that way.
Okay.
No. It's
everyone thinks we're a rich restaurant. Like, you're rich, right? I'm like, well, yeah. Okay.
No, it's a lot of heavy lifting. I mean, I think it's we've made a lot of progress in a very short period of time.
Agree.
Trying to start a media platform from zero is extremely difficult. We've had the original idea was for it to be a purely digital and social platform. So the content would all be on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Then then there was a sort of a request to make a linear channel.
Okay.
And we had about 6 months maybe to do that. So created a linear channel, which for now is only running here in Taiwan, but we just got a deal done, so it'll be starting in Singapore in
congrats! That's
about
great.
2 weeks.
Beautiful.
And then now we've got some distribution in the U.S. as well coming. So
is there, just let me cut you off really quick, is there like for example, like YouTube analytics will say, hey, you're getting your most views from Taiwan or the U.S. or Holland or whatever. Do you guys, where is the most of the viewership coming from? Is it coming from here, from the States? Is there something like that you guys see?
It depends on the platform, but it's a great question. So, I think most of it comes from, percentage-wise, from Taiwan.
Of course, makes sense.
Which is not our goal.
Of course.
But that's something about maybe, depending on the platform, roughly between 10 to 30%.
Okay.
Of the overall traffic, and the rest is international. And then if you look at international markets, it's U.S. number one by far. Then it's Philippines, India.
Really?
And then it's kind of a jumble of Canada, Australia, UK.
Really?
I think I'm forgetting some places. Southeast Asia is kind of always like Singapore, Malaysia are in there as well.
You would think Canada would be big, because I know, when I go back, Vancouver is massively Asian, right?
Yep.
So when we go back to Vancouver, it's like my wife feels like, wow, super comfortable. She's like, oh, everyone's Asian here. It's like when I went to this business course thing before we opened this branch. We went to LA, and then we landed, and I was like, holy crap, everyone speaks Spanish. It's all Mexicans everywhere. I was like, oh, wow, I get to use my Spanish again. Yeah. So you would think that Canada, at least like the Vancouver side, the west side, would be huge.
I think part of that's a function of, obviously, just sheer numbers, right? There's less of them than there are.
Less people, that
America.
makes sense.
But part of it also is probably a little bit to do with our marketing. We haven't really focused too much on Canada yet.
Okay.
I think that's definitely an opportunity for us for Taiwan Plus as well. So there's a lot of work to do. So to answer your question, are we doing it? I think it's been amazing progress in a very short period of time.
You said 3 years, right?
Yeah. I can't remember when they exactly launched, but I think it'll be 3 years probably.
Oh, not even
in
then.
fall then. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But a lot of progress in a short period of time, and
So do you guys have like a show that is let's say a top show? You've got I'll pull out a couple the Happy Fisherman's, I think, seems to be a big one, right?
Yep.
The Kitchen Remix is new.
Yep.
The Taipei Tonight Show is new, which is that's a cool one too. Actually, I like the concept on that. That's a cool one.
Yeah, that one was a attempt to do something different. So
I think it's great.
For people who don't know, it's sort of like an American style late night talk show.
Yeah,
right?
it's beautiful. It looks exactly like that. Yeah, it's
so
great.
That's sort of the idea behind it. So I don't know if we have necessarily a top show. So the ones you listed are all sort of ones we're optimistic or Happy Fisherman's been running for a while and it's been doing quite well.
Yeah, that's the one that most people that I talk to that mention Taiwan Plus, they mention Happy Fisherman with Leo, because most of them, they've seen it or they know Leo or.
We have one that does quite well. It's animated, but it's a bit more not really focused necessarily for children, but it's called The Jenny Show.
I don't know.
Check it out. It's really smartly done.
Okay.
It's basically the experience of a Taiwanese person who grew up in America but who comes here often in the summers or whatever, and her experience is here. Like,
oh, what?
sort
Really?
of like, the integration of her in Taiwanese culture and stuff.
That's
it's very well done.
Okay. I think that's great because there's a lot of kids in that situation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of kids and even adults who.
Adults, yeah.
So, but I don't know if we necessarily have, and it's definitely one of our goals is to sort of like a flagship, right?
That like
one
the signature,
show
the flagship. Yeah.
Right. I think our news is going to be a lot more of a focus as well. So that's sort of something where we've launched a few new shows there that are a bit more, like one's called Connected. It's somebody who sits here, and then two other guests who sit in other countries and talk about issues that maybe Taiwan has an issue in Taiwan, but is also an issue in their countries, and talk about that.
Okay.
So there's lots of stuff we're working on, and there's no shortage of ideas. It's
of course. You just have to pick the right ones, right?
Yeah, and how to make that idea actually work and stick.
Yeah. Ideas are
it's
quite
tough,
common,
man.
I'm sure.
You can imagine like media choices now are unbelievable, right? You could be watching YouTube, right? Eddy live
watching
on YouTube
or on Facebook or I had a guy recently come on and I told him that I started to make clip videos and stuff and I was putting them on YouTube Shorts and stuff like that on Instagram, and he's like, well, you should just put the same clip on TikTok. And I'm like, well, TikTok is 15-year-old girls dancing around, and I'm not really, I don't want to get anywhere near that. And they're like, no, TikTok, once the algorithm gets rolling, it's set for what you want. Yeah, it's like, wow. So I did that. I've been doing TikTok for like 2 or 3 weeks, and it's like, now it seems to just be like clips of Rogan's podcast or clips of like David Goggins and stuff like that. And I thought, wow, because I didn't even think about TikTok until I got mentioned. Yeah.
In the U.S., the only sort of social platforms that are really growing, TikTok's obviously the biggest, and then Instagram, the Reels and YouTube Shorts those are the ones that are really they're seeing the most growth on.
It seems like it, right? Yeah. The long form seems to be. Like a podcast, for example, people will listen to it, in a long drive or something like that. But I think that's why, again, I'm a big Joe Rogan fan, so I think, I get the clip, he has his own, the JRE clips, and I thought, okay, I got to do that. And so I bought this lifetime sort of membership to this clip video making software that, it takes AI to do this and that. But I got in really early, which is good. But it's so unpolished, right? So then, I waited like half a year, and then I thought, well, I'm just sitting here. Do I actually want to sit there with Adobe Premiere Pro and do it myself and like another full-time job? Definitely not. Right? But I found another one, Video AI, and it just kind of like chops everything up for me, and it's got all the subs in there, and I just kind of correct everything, and I get to post, and it's great. It's
crazy.
That's fantastic.
That sort of technology is amazing. Right?
It's amazing because the AI will go. Let's say the show's an hour long. The AI it'll take about 45 minutes to just go through it, and then it'll just have everything chopped up for you, and then you kind of pick the templates and stuff like that, and it's cool. Just like people we've been doing it for maybe 3 weeks. I've been doing that. And people are just like, wow, the clips look great. And I'm just like, it's totally AI doing it. And then you can kind of edit this and that, but it's great. It's been amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
That sort of stuff I find that also unbelievable, right? Like how that can be done so quickly and so easily through that.
Yeah, it's amazing because you try to do it yourself, and it's just like, it's a full-time job. Or like doing this is already a lot. And then, making all the audio and stuff, just doing all that, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, But let's grab one more here. Yeah, grab this guy, one of those. Yeah. So far, so no good. So that is a ghost pepper one.
Oh, Jesus.
That's ghost pepper.
Am I going to have hiccups after this one?
Possibly. So that's ghost pepper. Yeah. Good, yeah.
That's good.
It's okay, right?
Yeah.
That's a really well-balanced one. So that's actually a sauce made by a local hot sauce company called Empress Hot Sauces.
I've heard of them, yeah.
And this is their ghost pepper sauce. And it's actually, people freak out when you say ghost, but actually it's pretty well balanced.
Yeah,
They
not too
use
bad.
some local ingredients and stuff. It's good stuff, man. It's really good. Yeah.
The flavor's awesome, actually.
Yeah, the flavor's good, right?
The
yeah.
heat doesn't overwhelm you.
Exactly. That's a beautiful one. I love that one. One more thing about the Taiwan Plus. So, Hong Kongers in Taiwan, right? Was that something that, like your concept because of your Hong Kong history, or when you watch something like that, is it kind of like, does it hit home for you? Because I was going through that and I said, oh, that.
Yeah, I wish I
perfect.
could take credit for it, but I can't. But yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I'm sure, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's been a lot of people who've left Hong Kong and
Yeah, sure.
for various reasons to come here. Quality of life, the expense of Hong Kong versus living in Taiwan.
Yeah, sure.
And obviously political reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it wasn't my idea, but I think it's a super important topic, and I mean, even Taiwan Plus has been, I don't know if lucky is the right way to say it, but some of our reporters that we have are where we got them because they had to leave Hong Kong. Right? They couldn't work there anymore, so they came here. And so we got very high quality reporters because a lot of them are people who have a ton of experience, but they just couldn't function in Hong Kong anymore. They're persona non grata there. So no, it's a important topic, I think, and I think you've seen a lot of people from mainland China, reporters. Like, I think CNN has a bureau here, The Guardian has a bureau here.
Here,
they've moved here to Taiwan because they can report freely. Right? There's free media.
Yeah.
There's no restrictions on anything.
Okay.
And that's not the case in some other markets. So,
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but yeah, it is what it is, right? I mean, I don't know. Have you been? Have you ever been? You must have been to China. Have you visited China? Yeah.
Many times.
Many times, yeah. How is it? I mean, I would love to go and check it out, but now my wife's Taiwanese, so it's tougher to get her to go, or to kind of go and she has to have like a special passport or whatever. But I'd like to go, but I don't know. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so actually, my first trip, which I a little bit of memory of, was just shortly after they actually opened it to foreign tourists. So we were living in Hong Kong, and I guess it was like 1979. Showing my age, but when they just started opening it up to foreign tourists, and I have photos still, and I still some memories.
That's cool.
Of you had to do the and even when I was living in Hong Kong, sometimes we did school trips across the border to Guangzhou, and then you had to do the obligatory. Okay, now we're going to go to the factory. Now we're going to go to the farm, right, and the commune, and see how awesome everything is.
Yes.
Obviously, that's changed now, but I mean, look, I think you have to separate the Chinese government and how you may or may not feel about that from Chinese people and from the culture, and Shanghai is an amazing city. Yeah,
I've heard so many good things about it. I'm always kind of like, I don't know if we should go.
Super ton of history. Very diverse as far as international culture, and
got like the wall, the Great Wall, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, and there's a ton of history, and it's beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful things, and I've been there. I don't even know how many times, but mostly to Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou. I haven't. I've been to Chengdu once, but I haven't really explored much of the rest of the country, which is unfortunate because I'd love to. But I've mostly been there for work. So.
For work, yeah. Does the family get to go with you?
They've been a couple times to Shanghai.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's I would love to explore more of it, but not now. It's maybe not the.
Maybe not. Yeah, for sure.
Thing. I don't know.
Probably not the best. Yeah. Well, for us, we went through China once. On the way back from Canada, we got like a super cheap flight on some like unknown line, and we were kind of like panicky. But yeah, we went through Beijing, and the check-in for the airport we were at was kind of like behind like the gate, and then I'm like, oh, we gotta go check in over there. They're like, no. And I'm like, how can I check in? They're like, oh, you need to check in before you go through this gate. And I said, well, my check-in is behind the gate, and they're just like, no. And I'm just like, my wife starts freaking out. I'm like, it's okay, relax. So I'm like, we waited, and then because I've been here for a while, so let's wait for 20 minutes and then just try a different line. Right? And then you go to and then you go to another line, and it was like there was no lineup anymore, and the person was kind of sleeping. Yeah. And I'm like, hi, boys, right? And he just looks at me like, and he just kind of like stamps all our stuff, lets us through, and then goes back to sleep. So I thought, okay, phew, a little bit of my
That might be the
experience.
best travel advice, right? It's like if one line doesn't, or one person doesn't say it, then just wait and find another one and hope that they have a different view on it.
Yeah, because usually, that's, that's I've had a lot of experience with that with Taiwan as well here. I remember when we got married, we were getting all the papers and stuff like that. And I had this massive stack of stuff from Canada, from all over the place. And, you go up and the lady's like, take a number. You go up. She checks everything. She's like, oh, okay, you don't need this. You don't need this. You don't need this. So she separates 2 stacks. Okay, she's like, okay, go over there, line up, pay, bring the receipt back, and then use this smaller stack, and you're good. Okay, we line up. We go there. We get the receipt. We pay, blah, blah, blah. Get to the front of the line. It's a different person. I give her my stack. And she's just like, well, where's this? Where's this? Where's this? Where's this? Where's this? And I'm like, I put it away. I'm like, okay. I put it together. And she's like, well, why did you separate them? And I'm just like, man, what do you want from me, man? Can we just like do this? Yeah, it's crazy.
Bureaucracy is everywhere, right? It's
of course.
The levels of it are.
It's funny, man.
I guess it depends, but yeah. You have to have patience with that sort of stuff.
So, do you have any obviously raising your family? What do you think some of the benefits are for having raised them, like, let's say here, right, in Taiwan, like American school, great, right? Like, as opposed to saying, maybe you move back to the States and raise them in the States. Are there some pros and cons that you think?
Yeah, I think for sure there's always pros and cons. I think, I grew up, as I mentioned, in Hong Kong in an international school environment, and I was always so thankful for that. I always thought that
looks awesome.
The amount of different people you meet from around the world, the opportunity to travel, all that sort of stuff. I was always so grateful that my parents were able to do that for me.
Yeah.
And so then when I got the opportunity to do it for my kids, I was like, hell yeah! How do I not do that? So I think there's a ton of advantages. I think like I said, the ability to travel is a big one, right?
Yeah, that's
the ability to live someplace that you're not from, and just you have to remember you're here in Taiwan. So how do you learn about the culture here and live within that? I think that's hugely valuable. Because you hope you're raising kids that have sort of a global mindset.
You hope so, right?
Like,
yeah.
They can go anywhere and figure it out, right? They can move to Australia or they can move to India.
Your girls are so good, man. They're such good kids. Yeah, for sure.
But I think that's something that you may, depending where you obviously are in the U.S. or what school.
Yeah, Canada too. Yeah.
Canada or anywhere, Australia, UK, wherever. You may or may not get. A lot depends on where. I think what type of school you go to. So, I think for sure, if anyone ever asked me, like, hey, I have an opportunity to go get a job in wherever. Yeah. You think I should do it? My answer is always yes.
Yes,
like,
do
why,
it.
Like, absolutely. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you get that experience for you, for your kids? It's good career-wise. It's good for your kids. It's good for everybody.
Yeah.
So, I'm a huge supporter of it.
Beautiful.
I think it'd be crazy not to.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Again, coming here, living, so I'm like 45. I'm going to turn 45 this year. And it's like, I've been here for 20. So that's not quite half, but it's getting close. It's getting close. Yeah. And I also feel like a very different, again, I love Canada. I love my hometown. I love everybody. But when I go back, I definitely feel, it's definitely different because, my buddies that stayed and stuff. And it's kind of like, it seems that the same things we talked about, like in high school, were the other things that when I go back now at 45, we're still going to be talking about that, that game, where I missed a penalty kick or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, that's the topic.
Wait, is that true? Did you?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't miss penalty kick. No, but I was a defender usually, so I was never that good, it always seems to be the same topics, and it's fun for a while, but I also feel blessed that I came out here. I came out here at 23 just to kind of like, none of my family had ever been here. A lot of Taiwanese people think I'm like, half white, half Chinese, like ABC or something, and that's the reason I came here. And I'm like, no, I'm actually Mexican. I don't look it, I know, but So it's a crazy one. It's a crazy how life is, and I'm excited. I'm excited to go back, and I think that it's cool. I'm really excited more for my daughter because when she goes back, she's just like when I was a kid, and I would go to. Not quite every summer, but we go to Mexico, not quite every summer, almost every couple of years we go to Mexico. And for me, where my family is in Mexico, it's kind of like it's a really traditional, it's kind of like a ghetto area. It's a super like local.
Yep.
It's great. That's one of my favorite places on earth. You know, you go back there, food's amazing, weather's everything's just, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So when I would go there, it was like paradise for me. And so when my daughter goes back to Canada, it's the same feeling. So yeah, I'm excited for her. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I mean,
Yeah.
she, to know her family there, right? That's
Yeah.
so important. It's part of who she is.
Yeah.
Both Canadian and Mexican, right?
Yeah,
That's,
exactly.
so I'm half Indian, and so I always want to
Okay.
make sure that we stay in contact and see
Okay.
my family that's, my Indian side of my family, because it's who my kids are too, right? And
Okay,
they have to know that.
They have to
right?
know it. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's and you're right. And her memories will hopefully be, I get to go back to Canada. It's so much fun, and
like
see
paradise.
my family, and they all spoil you, and all those sorts of things, right?
Yeah, but because we never really get back, so when we do go, it's basically like they take her and they're like, whatever you want, it's just like, what do you want? Anything. So so she gets, and it's good because she does. I mean, obviously my wife's family's here, so it's definitely a different culture where they don't really want to take her out to do stuff. They're kind of like, let's just stay home and hang out. But like, in Canada, she's just going to be spoiled rotten, which is okay, which is good, which is good.
That's what grandparents and family are
That's
for,
what it's
right?
about, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Yeah.
Absolutely.
How are we doing? So should we get that last one in there,
Let's do
brother,
it.
or
So
what?
what we got here?
Yeah. All right. So that's a Carolina Reaper, but to be honest, you make it and it's super super hot, and then it kind of mellows out, and it's kind of like its hot sauce has like a life of its own.
Okay.
Sometimes it's up and sometimes it's down. So
All right.
like last week I was like, what? It was so mellow. Like what was going on here? But we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, so now they've upped it for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully. So basically, well, it's a roll of the dice to see what we got here. I think, man. Have you found like a lot of similarities with Hong Kong and Taipei?
Huh. That's a great question. I don't know. I mean, for sure there are. I mean, obviously big cities, big Asian cities.
Uh-huh.
Obviously the weather is similar, I guess.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. I guess not. I mean, I think there's, of course,
Because
there's
it's
some
pretty
basic
close,
stuff,
right? But it seems very different.
I'll tell you that I think the biggest difference is the pace, right? Hong Kong is, it's nonstop, right? It's like people are there, people are focused on making money, and it's doing deals, and it's
Hustle
got a
and
pace
bustle.
like a New York or Shanghai or whatever, right?
Okay.
I think Taipei feels like a step slower than that, which is good and bad, right? It's good in the
for
sense
sure.
that it is slower pace, and it's easy to not get too caught up in that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you are the type of person who wants to get stuff done and get deals done, and
Yeah.
it does take longer, and
It does take
move
longer.
slower, right?
We always get the Chabudor, like, that's about right. We'll get it done. We'll get it done tomorrow or whatever. And you're like, I kind of need it right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
We had a friend living in Seoul, and we went to Seoul, and it was nice, but it was super fast pace, right? I remember even the people just walking on the street were like double timing it, and just like, okay.
There's no moseying.
And I'm so used to everything being so slow, and I'm just like, my wife was like almost running, like, okay, where are we going? Where are we going? Yeah, it was funny. It was a cool it was a cool experience as well.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest difference. I think it's
How's it? Spicy.
yeah, that one makes my lips tingle, but not in a bad way.
Okay.
good.
Good.
It's not-
So you're good on
it's not
spice.
one of those ones where I'll regret it tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it looks tomorrow. Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. Right on, brother. So, yeah, I mean, do you have any sort of tips or tricks for anybody who is looking to, I mean, you have a pretty good life, it seems, right? Like, you got a great
Can't
life.
complain, yeah.
Like, I mean, you live in Asia, you did international schools, you got the family here, you married an amazing Dutch lady, you got 2 beautiful girls. Do you have any advice for people that are kind of like looking to be in your situation? Go to Holland. No.
Yeah, I mean, like I touched on before, I guess it's if you have an opportunity to live somewhere else or do something that's outside of your comfort zone, you should absolutely do it. I think I'm always surprised at people who don't jump on those opportunities, right? Like the ones who are like, oh, I'm comfortable here. And well, that's okay. Uh-oh.
There you go, the hiccups. There we go, baby. Hiccups.
So I would say, yeah, you jump on those opportunities.
Jump on the opportunities. Get out of the comfort zone. I think I get to interview a lot of quite successful people, and it seems that it always comes down to getting out of the comfort zone, because you can sit there and be in your comfort zone and it's tough. Ooh, my lips are on fire too this time. Yeah, I agree 100%, man. And I appreciate it. Do you have anything you wanted to add?
You got me with the hiccups now.
I got you there. Perfect. All right. Yeah. So that's about an hour, man. So do you have anything you want to add?
No, just thank you for inviting me, and
appreciate it, man.
Thanks for the hiccups, and it's been fun.
For sure. Thank you guys for watching. Taiwan Plus. Do we have any inside scoops of anything kind of on the download coming up on Taiwan Plus?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything in particular, but check it out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different stuff on there for everybody, so I think I appreciate anybody just engaging with our content.
That's all right,
and I apologize for the hiccups.
No problem. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Episode 200. Bimal Kapoor, good friend of mine, longtime customer, even longer friend. Great family man. Check out Taiwan Plus. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.